Hello. So I realized I talk a lot about my art process, but not a lot about my writing process, so I figured I would introduce you guys to how I write my stories. First up, we have the idea. The idea can come from anything, but in my case, it normally comes from either a fandom or a dream. I know that sounds weird, but yeah, I did get an idea for an entire story from a dream. More specifically, I dreamed about a scientific concept and I turned that into a story. A story that I'm hoping to publish one day, so fingers crossed, let's hope that happens. But an idea can come from literally anything, like it can be as simple as, oh hey, look, that flower looks pretty, what if it was poisonous? And you can turn that into a whole story. After the idea, we have the thinking process. This is where you take that idea and start actually expanding it into a plot and characters and stuff like that. It is building on what you already have. For me, I do this step mostly by info dumping in a journal. I have a whole bunch of ideas, and so I basically write them all down in a journal a whole bunch all at once. This step is just kind of to get your thoughts out and onto a page, into a tangible idea that you can work with. Quick disclaimer here, this is just my process. This is not any professional advice or anything, this is just what I do. And I'm just a random teenager who wants to write a book, so take that with a huge grain of salt, you know? Anyways, next up on our things to do as a writer is outline. Okay, this is a very crucial step because this is where you actually take the plot and you turn it into little chapters and you start to just plan out everything. I used to skip the planning phase and go straight into the writing phase, which was a huge mistake for my brain. Since I didn't have anywhere to go, I would get stuck for months on end and I would never really finish the draft. I would always get halfway through and then think of another great idea and restart. It was a cycle of just getting stuck and restarting. This story that I'm writing right now is actually one of the first stories that I've actually really finished, and the main difference was that I outlined first. Outlining isn't for everyone. Sometimes people say that it makes writing super boring for them and it just feels like a chore that they can't really do, and I understand that. I used to think that was what it was like for me, but as soon as I started outlining, I realized that it was just a way to keep track of my things better instead of just keeping it all in my head. You can keep this in a paper or a digital form. I did it on paper first because it's easier for me to remember, but I'm doing a digital thing for my second draft of the story. The reason that I've transferred to digital is because I feel like I could reference it a lot quicker than my sloppy handwritten notes, because if you look at my notes, they look like they were written by a serial killer because my handwriting sucks. So I decided to transfer over to digital to help keep it a little bit more neat and tidy. So next up in my writing process after the outline is the actual writing part. I call this the first draft. The first draft is very messy, it's very rough, it's not supposed to be very pristine or publishable. It's not supposed to be something that you show to people. I obviously did because I wanted valid criticism on my plot and my characters, and I got that, but most of the time people don't show their first draft because their first draft changes so much. Mine, thankfully, didn't because I kept all of the changes until the second draft. The second draft, which I am currently not working on actually, I am working on the second draft outline. That's the thing, you outline before every single draft because the outline for every single draft is going to look different depending on what you want to add or what you want to subtract from the story. And it depends on how many drafts you want to do, but it's going to change a lot in your story. Whether you want it or not, your story is going to change and is going to get better. Hopefully. I would hope that your story is not getting worse from draft to draft, but besides that, I do not have any real experience with draft to draft exercises yet because, like I have said, all of my drafts have been deleted and redone before I could actually finish them. Right now, I am working on the outline of my second draft, and this outline is much more detailed than my first outline. What I'm hoping this will do is prevent me from procrastinating or putting off my goal of writing 1,000 words a day during the summer. You guys do not have to have these insane goals. I just have them for myself, just to make me, stay on track and hopefully, get this published eventually. I'm hoping to get it published while I'm still, a teenager. But I also think I'm going to get it traditionally published, which takes a very long time in the making. So I'm trying to get the drafts done as quickly and efficiently as possible, setting myself goals and deadlines, like quote unquote deadlines, because there's no way I'm actually going to, deadline myself. But I'm setting myself goals so that I can better keep track of when I'm writing, what I'm writing, and how much I'm writing. My original goal was to be done with my first draft by the end of August, and as you can see, I am almost done with my first draft now, and that is a significant improvement. You want to know why? Because I set myself a really lenient deadline. I was like, okay, I'm going to write 1,000 words a day. Well, this is what I'm hoping to do, but what if I slack off a couple days? What if I am busy one day and am unable to reach my word goal, which has happened before, and I'm still done early? I think the end of August is a good deadline for my second draft-ish. I would probably give myself a little bit more leniency because I'm going to be starting school, and school is obviously going to take up a lot of my time, and I'm not going to be able to write 1,000 words a day with school going on. At least I'm not going to be able to write 1,000 words a day consistently because school takes up a lot of time, and I'm not going to be able to consistently be able to put in as much work as I am during the summer. So I would probably give myself a little bit more leniency. But moving back onto our process, the next step is figuring out what your characters exactly look like. You probably have something pictured in your mind, but you have to get that down on paper. For me, I just do really quick character descriptions, like what their hair looks like, what their eyes color is, what they wear, stuff like that. Really quick and easy, just a quick description, and then I'm done. I normally do this before the writing process, by the way. So now we're finishing up my character here. This is some pretty old art, by the way, because I haven't been drawing as much recently since I've been locking in on writing. But hopefully I'll be able to get some more art content out soon. Thank you guys so much for watching. Remember to watch some of my other content if you're curious about it. And goodbye!